Our next guest is the Emmy. Sorry. Oh my God.
God.
Our next guest is the Emmy-nominated creator and star of Billy on the Street, and one of our favorite guests here, Billy Eichner. How are you, my friend?
Hi.
It's so lovely to see you. How's your quarantine thus far?
It's great. I have a song for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Fly me to the Zoom and let me play among the stars. I don't remember them making Leno do this during SARS. In other words, don't hold my hand. In other words, don't ever touch me.
What? That was wonderful.
Thank you. That's my song for you.
That's just it's very interesting to live in a time where people are not allowed to have close contact because, of course, you made a career of invading people's personal space.
I did in New York City, yeah.
In New York City, of all places. And Billy on the Street, which is a show I've been lucky enough to do a few times.
Yeah.
This is having a resurgence because of, safe to say, because of Netflix.
Yeah, so we did 5 seasons of half-hour episodes, and prior to that, I had done years of YouTube videos, and then we did 5 half-hour seasons of the show, and 4 of those seasons went on Netflix in November. So even though I'm now back to just doing occasional web Billy on the Street videos, we don't do the half-hour episodes anymore because my career took off like a rocket. But people are now discovering those episodes on Netflix for the first time. So like many things that go on Netflix, the show's having this resurgence right at a time when I cannot go and film new videos or new anything.
Do you think that there's, I mean, obviously, I think the one, they're hilarious too. I do think they probably age incredibly well. But do you think that people are watching it with some nostalgia of a time where, people were just in the streets bumping into people in New York City?
Yeah, it's funny. I never pictured that as a show that would ever be associated with nostalgia or sweetness. Although, I mean, I grew up in New York City. A lot of people ask me they're always like, how can you do that? Or they're always like, oh, you're fearless and all these things, which always makes me laugh. I'm so not fearless. But the reason I'm not scared to do that is because New York is my hometown. Those streets are where I grew up. That's the place I'm most comfortable, weirdly. And so for me, it always did have, I guess, a little sweetness underneath it, but I never expected it to feel nostalgic so soon. And I think people are watching it because it's a little nostalgic for the New York that we're all used to, and also because I think it's just very silly, and it really is the definition of, we dipped our toes into social commentary here and there, but on the surface, it's so absurd and so silly, and it's a real escape from the news every day, which is pretty grim. I also see a lot of families watching it with their children, which is not something I ever expected. But I'll take it. I don't care. You want to ruin your kid? I'll gladly reap the benefits.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that people were watching with their kids too. And then the minute I thought about it a little bit, I realized that my children would delight in watching it. You are so much fun, and I think they would immediately understand the comedy of people being interrupted by a stranger.
Yeah, and I think, I was very influenced as a kid by Pee Wee Herman. He was like my favorite thing to watch as a kid. And Pee Wee did this thing where on one level, he literally had a Saturday morning show for kids like me, but it was also appreciated by adults. Like his show worked on 2 different levels. And in some ways, he was also this human cartoon, and I think that's how children see my show. I'm the next Pee Wee Herman, which is what I'm trying to say, with the exception of masturbating in porno theaters. Not that I wouldn't, but you can't go to the porno theaters right now, Seth. Look at my chandelier. It's like the gay Phantom of the Opera in here. It's crazy.
I've talked to you about this before, but doing one of those episodes with you, especially when we did one together for the Emmys,
yeah,
like it's amazing how much time you have to put into it. Like the yield is lower than people would think, that you have to do it all day to get like those 8 to 10 great moments. Yeah. And the thing that I especially liked, which I would not have known, is you never had any interest in talking to people who were excited to see you coming.
No, because yeah, it's once in a while if someone recognizes me, and now people recognize me more often than they did. The nice thing about New York is that those streets are constantly replenishing themselves. There are so many people, so we can walk up and down the same street, and every time we turn around, there are new people, and a lot of them come from different parts of the world, or different parts of the country. Although I think I tend to talk to more New Yorkers than tourists.
Yeah.
But once in a while, I can turn someone knowing me into something worth using, but I much rather talk to someone who doesn't know me or doesn't know me that well, because that's part of the fun, is them experiencing it in real time,